Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're all having a lovely day. You're probably having a better day than Mark Croker if your vehicle has heat. This is something that's been showing up more and more on a number of different forums, message boards, Facebook groups, and so on and so forth, where people with brand new Tesla Model 3 and Model Y vehicles don't have heat. As any of you may know, over the past few days, it has gotten really effing cold. It's about 19 degrees in New York City. It is below zero in New Hampshire. It's cold. So if you have a car that has some sort of fatal flaw that results in it not being able to heat it, now's the time that you're going to notice it. And a lot of people are getting an error called VCFront_A447, and then a little alert on the screen that says cabin climate control requires service, cabin heating cooling limited, or unavailable. Now, since the cabin heat is also related to your front and rear defroster and defogger, this can be seriously bad. Again, if you're driving in -5 degrees Fahrenheit, it is really effing cold. And if your window gets foggy, you usually have three options. A, drive without seeing, very bad. B, put on the defroster with the defogger, which means that you got some nice hot air popping up there, but that's not an option for you if you bought a Tesla. Or behind door number 3, have it, while it's -5 or -9 degrees in your vehicle, blow some nice cold air onto the windshield, which that's not going to end well for you. So this is a thread from Mark Croker. He says, "I beg of you, Elon, my Tesla Model Y lost heat again. This time at -25 Celsius, less than 48 hours after getting it back from service. 2 super manifolds, at least 3 sensor sets, expansion valves, software updates, AC lines. What's next? This is the 3rd tow to the service center for no heat. You can see that annoying little error. I can't keep doing this. At least this time it happened while in the city and wasn't an immediate, life-threatening situation. How can I have faith in your product ever again? This is my family's primary vehicle. We saved for years to afford it. I ask you, Elon Musk, or someone who has some power to help me reach out. I've spoken to the Western Canadian service manager and my issues were dismissed as regular warranty issues." By the way, this is not surprising when you read stories about Tesla's customer service, how they deal with customers. They often treat their customers very similarly to how Apple treats their customers, like a piece of human debris. It says over here, since October 2020, this car has had more work on it than any other car I've owned in 20 years. Anyone who can help me get the attention of someone at Tesla beyond a service manager to rectify this craziness, please help. And follow-up is actually, wow, this is really blowing up. Thanks so much to everyone for help. Hope they reach out soon. Let's put the power of internet to good use. And someone says lemon, and he goes, no lemon law in Canada. Ouch. When a country has worse consumer protections than the United States, you know you're fucking something up. So to dig into this a little bit, if you take a look, a lot of people have been saying, well, this is already covered by a 1-year-old service bulletin. Don't worry about it. They'll be able to fix it easily. However, if you take a note of all the people that have been complaining about this over the past week, they are not complaining about any one of the error messages or alerts that show up in this service bulletin. All of these errors are not VCFront_A447, which is what many people are reporting. And as you take a look here, it says, if none of the below alerts are displayed, then the issue is not resolved by this bulletin. I repeat, for all the people that are posting about the error code A447, it says here, if that error code is not listed, then it is not solved by this bulletin. So this bulletin is not going to fix your problem. I'm reading a lot of people respond with this old service bulletin that is almost 1 year old saying, don't worry about it, it'll be easy, they'll figure it out. No, because this doesn't cover that particular issue. Now, take this for what it is, because I've been collecting this from random groups on the internet, and God knows how that data is. But apparently, it looks like they are taking parts from that guy Mark's car, and they are shipping it to California overnight so that they could try and take a look and figure out why this guy's $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 car can't heat itself the way a 15-year-old Toyota Corolla would. And now people are saying that a software update may fix this. So apparently there is some sort of front intake flap on the vehicle and it can freeze open. Again, one thing to keep in mind here is that these cars are, and a lot of the engineering and the work is done in California, where they just don't, well, what's cold, what's snow. I remember when I went to San Diego in 2016 and I was able to wear shorts and a t-shirt. So they're not exactly used to testing the heat pump in these types of environments that you get in Massachusetts or New Hampshire or Canada. But apparently when this little flap freezes open, the idea is that cold air may rush in. It goes by a sensor. The sensor thinks the heat pump isn't doing its job because why would it be this cold in here if the heat pump is doing its job? So it turns it off. And the idea behind a software fix is maybe we can just tell it, ignore this sensor, which again is not really a full, in my opinion, a full fix. It's a half-assed way to get it done until you can figure out how to fix this permanently. But I don't understand how, if the issue is with a front flap that freezes open, that you would fix this over software unless you are doing some sort of bypass quick fix. That's not exactly going to be ideal, but it is a way to at the very least get people heat without having to deal with a service center to fix this little issue with the flap that winds up being stuck open. And when it comes to service, I know what some of you are going to say, it's not a big deal. Just go to the dealer and get it serviced. Just go to the showroom or the service center to get it serviced, and problem solved. Well, just to be clear, I am making this video right now. I am filming it on January 11th. So I decided, let's do a little bit of research. Let's ask around. Let's have some fun with this. And I took a bunch of screenshots and collected them and put them into that one thing that you see on the screen over here. So when you are looking to schedule service, depending on where you live, it's going to direct you to different service centers. So if you live in Rahway, New Jersey, your earliest appointment, if you live someplace where it goes as low as 10 degrees right now, your earliest service appointment is in 1 month. If you live in Brooklyn, New York, again, New York City, the most dense and populated metropolitan area in the entire United States, you'd think they'd have a lot of service centers. Closest you could get service is February 9th. And if you live in northern Massachusetts or somewhere in New Hampshire, if you want to get service, you are literally looking at a month and a half. So from January 11th, your earliest date of service would be February 22nd. So you could have a car that costs up to $70,000 that a few months after purchase has no heat because of an issue, and you could be stuck waiting over 6 weeks to be able to have it addressed. To be clear, this is not the amount of time it takes for the vehicle to be fixed. This is when you're able to enter one of their service centers to have someone tell you it's going to take 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks to fix your vehicle. This is why I become incredibly aggravated when you'll see that some of the world's top automakers will spend tens of millions of dollars over here, as you can see. GM, Toyota, Ford, Honda, and Nissan. And trust me, Tesla is not on this list, but that's not because they are for right to repair. I'll leave it at that. Putting all this money into creation of commercials to fearmonger people into believing that if they voted for a right to repair for motor vehicles in the state of Massachusetts, that they were going to get raped in a parking lot or people were going to break into their garage. When they say that it's dangerous to have somebody else work on the vehicle, I want you to think about this. What's more dangerous? Having someone down the street who's a mechanic being able to work on your car and fix it, or having the dealer work on it 6 weeks out? Because that's the reality. When you don't have enough independent repair shops to be able to take the load off of the manufacturer, what you end up with is a situation where the manufacturer is overloaded. And whether we're talking about agricultural, medical, consumer electronics, or automotive, the manufacturer in and of itself is not able to handle the demand without other shops being able to take a little bit of the load off of them. And I would propose that not having heat in a vehicle for 6 weeks that somebody is going to drive when you are going to use that heat to defrost and defog your vehicle is considerably more dangerous than having Billy Bob down the road work on your car when we're talking about something basic like a sensor or a heater module. This is a serious issue, and you know, I know what's going to happen with this. Somebody's going to say to themselves, well, even if the car gets foggy, I'll just triple up on my jackets and I'll deal with the cold defogger being on for a little bit, even if it's horrible. And they're actually going to get in their car, they're going to drive a little bit, they're going to turn the fog on, they'll be like, oh God, that's cold. No. They're going to turn it off, the window's going to fog up, and they're going to start squinting to see through it all. Again, you shouldn't drive when your vehicle doesn't work. You shouldn't drive when you cannot see straight. People do all sorts of stupid things in cars. There's a reason we have over 15,000 motor vehicle deaths a year in the United States. It's because people don't always do the smartest things in cars. It's important that people outside the manufacturer be able to perform service. because the manufacturer is often incapable of performing service in anything even remotely interpretable as an acceptable timeline. This is why I'm very much so looking forward to real car companies that are not memes coming along and kicking Tesla's ass. Companies that understand how to put together a heater that works in a $70,000 vehicle, that if there is a problem with that heater a few months after you purchase the car, will not make you wait 6 weeks, again, not for the fix, to be able to be told how long the fix will take. I really do wish that there were more people producing viable options for electric vehicles in the US. The only reason I think Tesla gets away with most of what they get away with is because there are no other viable options. If you want a car that runs a little bit warmer than a Tesla that doesn't have a heater, you can look to some other American brands like, Chevy with General Motors. The problem is that they've managed to go a little bit too far in the other direction. Their cars tend to run a little bit too hot, if you know what I mean. They're having a couple of issues that they have to sort out with LG and their batteries. If you want a Ford Mach-E, you're looking at a 20 to 26 week wait time, more expensive, less battery life than Tesla, worse charging options. If you look at the landscape, it's like very few people are really trying to compete at their level, but I am confident the moment that any other vehicle manufacturer that is not a meme starts producing electric vehicles in any way, shape, or form or regularity that are of any decent quality, that Tesla is just going to get it. Because again, you produce a car that has an issue with heat, you can have someone go back to the service center 2 or 3 times and still not have heat within a day of leaving, and the amount of time it takes not for the car to be fixed, not for them to order the parts, literally for them to accept you as a customer for repair on a car that you own can be easily 6 weeks. That's just not acceptable. And the idea that this car company is worth more than every single other car company combined is an absolute, utter meme. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that it is reasonable that you have to wait 6 weeks for an appointment to a service center before they're even able to actually fix the vehicle for you? Do you think it is reasonable for a vehicle that is produced in 2021 or 2022 to not be tested to the point that they don't have waves of tens of thousands of people that have broken heaters the moment that it steps below 0 degrees? Do you think that it is reasonable to have this level of quality control or lack of in a vehicle that is not in your $17,000 to $20,000 range, but that when this came out was around the $38,000 range? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.